gentlemen, Niner fans, how we feeling? Happy Tuesday. We got a lot of news today. There was a lot of news. I love this. Time of the year. The schedule releases coming up tomorrow, and the teams they get to release a few little games before to tease us. To get us excited. And on top of that, there was just a lot of general news. 49ers have been signing players over the last couple of days. They added some depth. And it's fun times. When schedules come out, players talk, and everybody starts getting active, and content's coming out, and everybody's saying what they got to say. About the schedule, and we're all on pins and needles, worried about tomorrow, and anxious, really anticipating what's going to happen with the schedule, because once the schedule drops, we can start planning the games we want to go to. We can start the trash talk and all that stuff, and we can start really realizing the season is just around the corner. So today was a fun day. Before we get to any crazy news, just want to say what's up. How's everybody feeling? I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Schedule release tomorrow. I'm so excited. I mean, man, this is the time of the year where it starts really feeling like, football is kind of around the corner. It smells like football, like they say. So good times. And as we know, the 49ers week 1 opponent has been announced, and it is the New York Football Jets, as it was announced earlier this morning in the wee hours of the morning. And we all woke up to this news and we were like, holy smokes, this is awesome. And if you remember yesterday, George Kittle, he teased us. This is what George Kittle posted on his story yesterday. He said, see you soon. And it's a picture of Aaron Rodgers with a Jets logo on his hand warmers. Because guess what? Remember the last time George Kittle played Aaron Rodgers? He wasn't on the Jets. He was on the Green Bay Packers. So George Kittle gave us a little Easter egg of what to expect. My man, Rashad says, YouTube's boring without you. I appreciate you. I work a lot, so I can't really get on YouTube as much as I want to. And I also can't get on Instagram as much as I want to. But, believe me, when I can, I do my best to come on and hop on to the gram and YouTube. I wish I could do it more, but I appreciate those. So, yeah, 49ers versus Jets week 1. Aaron Rodgers, Brock Purdy. The storylines are going to be crazy. I know they're going to talk about how, Aaron Rodgers was passed on by the Niners, and he's 0 whatever against the Niners in the last couple of years. He's undefeated on Monday night. There's so many stories for this game. And Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, can he take down the multi-time MVP Aaron Rodgers? First game of the season. It's back. Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers, last time he played was Monday Night Football, week 1 of last season, and we understand the Achilles. That was a dreadful injury. And guess what? 49ers signed Leonard Floyd, the guy that unfortunately injured Aaron Rodgers in that game when he was with the Bills. So a lot of crazy storylines. I'm so excited. I like the Jets. We got the Robert Salah versus Kyle Shanahan story. You got the two former, DC head coach combo for the 49ers. We all know Robert Salah went to the Jets, and, he's the head coach, and now he finally gets to go up head to head against his former, coaching ally back with the Niners. This is the first time they make a head to head matchup. It's going to be cool. There's a lot of former 49ers that are on the Jets. You got we got Solomon Thomas, you got Javon Kinlaw, Isaiah Oliver, just to name a few. There's quite a bit of former 49ers on the Jets, man. It's like, Robert Salah goes and picks all those old Jets players or full 49er players and throws them on his roster. There's a few more of them. Those are the ones right off the top of my head. It's going to be a battle, man. Like a guy like Javon Kinlaw probably can't wait to play the Niners, right? Revenge game. We remember the last time the 49ers played the Jets. Raheem Mostert and the Niners were smoking them. It was in the MetLife Stadium. It was a horrible ending to that game. A lot of injuries. I mean, Nick Bosa got hurt. I mean, that was horrible. Solomon Thomas on the Niners got hurt. Literally, like almost back-to-back plays. Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa tore their ACL. So thankfully, it's in Levi Stadium this time around, because I couldn't play another. I don't know if I'd be able to watch another game against the Jets in their stadium. So thankfully, we don't have to play on that nasty MetLife turf. But I'm so hyped up for this game. Niner Jets. Yeah, gonna be stuff. Gonna be good stuff. My man Eric says, I will say I respect Brock Purdy with the passion. He proved he was a great quarterback. Respect to you, Eric. A lot of people don't want to give Brock his flowers. They don't want to give him his credit. But this is a big season for Brock. We all expect him to get paid a lot of money, like we were talking about yesterday with Ted, in terms of what can we expect with the contract extension now that Jared Goff got paid, what, $54 million a year? We're thinking maybe Brock's going to get 55, but he has to put together another solid season. Like, we know how good Brock has been. Mr. Irrelevant becomes, quarterback one for the franchise, and he's done a really good job, MVP candidate, but he has to, replicate it. Obviously, I think he will. A lot of good weapons on this offense. They've added more. So, yeah, absolutely feel like the 49ers are going to be in good hands with Brock Purdy. It just looks like a franchise quarterback. And it's kind of cool because you guys see all the ads and stuff for week one, and they actually put Brock Purdy's face on those, the graphics and stuff. And I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't mean it. He's whatever. That means a lot because I haven't seen a 49ers quarterback on like a major graphic like that for week one to build up the hype. Like, I know Jimmy's been on a few graphics here and there when we had him, Trey Lance, whatever. But the Brock Purdy week one, it was head to head. You got Aaron Rodgers, Brock Purdy. NFL loves Brock Purdy. The story is amazing because you would normally think they'll put CMC, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, one of those stars of the team, George Kittle. They put Brock Purdy on the NFL page. To me, that means a lot. I don't think if another quarterback was our guy and it wasn't Brock Purdy, he might not be on the cover. So it's pretty cool. And again, Aaron Rodgers, he's coming back. He's got a cool story to write now. Last season was supposed to be this monumental year for the Jets, and it turned out to be a clunker because Aaron Rodgers went down, and that was an unfortunate ending to his season last year. And I'm sure he's going to be coming in hungry. The last time I watched Aaron Rodgers in Levi Stadium, he left with the dub when he was on the Packers. I remember that game. That was a horrible game. I was so mad. I can't believe we lost that game. Packers, I think it was like a week 2 or 3. I think it might have been week 3, prime time game. They gave, Niners scored with like 30 seconds left. Kyle Juszczyk crosses the goal line. You gave the man 30 seconds, Aaron Rodgers 30 seconds, marched down the field, and they won the game. And I just like left with my heart ripped out of my chest. But hopefully this time they don't give Aaron Rodgers extra time, and we can take care of business. But hey, it's a whole different team he's on, and Jets are a good team. They really put together a great offseason. They got Brees Hall coming back. You got Garrett Wilson. They got a lot of good players. They added Malachi. I can't remember his last name. That guy Malachi. He's kind of like a Debo S receiver in the draft. They've put together a really strong offseason. They added 2 really good tackles. They got a stout defense, right? Their D line is always amazing, and you got Robert Salah. He wants to come in and take Aaron Rodgers, or he wants to take Kyle Shanahan and have Aaron Rodgers dismantle the Niners. So, going to be a fun opening week one game. Malachi Corley, that's the guy. Hey, Peter Hart Parker, thank you. Malachi Corley, a guy looked good. I thought the Niners were going to draft. That was a guy that was on the Niners radar. So, yeah, Jets have done a great job this offseason. They were pretty much hanging around a lot of games last year, but they had Zach Wilson at quarterback, and they couldn't win. They went through a lot of quarterback situation last year. Their quarterback carousel. It was kind of like watching the Niners with quarterback situation over the last couple of years, seeing the Jets last year. It was just absolutely horrible when Aaron Rodgers went down. So now they got Aaron Rodgers back. Hopefully he stays healthy. I don't want him to get hurt. I want to see the Jets do good. I like Robert Salah. Maybe this Super Bowl preview, early Super Bowl preview. Who knows? But kind of be a fun week one. And it's Monday Night Football, prime time. So, I got to be there. Deb says, y'all by going? Right? Absolutely. I would have missed this game for the world. I cannot wait. Week one, I will be there. Week one, Monday Night Football, Niners, Jets. I will be seated. But I'll tell you this, the last time I watched the Jets in Levi Stadium, it's when the team was bad. I want to say 2014, maybe 2015-ish. Can't remember what year. It was a horrible year. I'm pretty sure it's Chip Kelly year. We lost to the damn Jets. I think we had like 2 wins that year. And the Jets had like pretty much the same record. They beat us in overtime. We had Carlos Hyde, Colin Kaepernick, Jeremy Curley. That team was so bad. And I flew. I didn't live in Vegas. I didn't live in California at the time. I was living in Vegas. So I flew down, came all the way down to watch the 49ers. I paid a lot of money to come down and watch this team. and they ripped my heart. They ripped my heart out of my chest like they typically do a lot of the time. But we were bad. So I was like, hey, you know, if I'm gonna fly down to from Vegas, I'm gonna go to the Jets game. We can surely beat the Jets. We did not beat the Jets. We did not. It was 2016, yeah. But I think we can beat them this time around. We're a 5 point favorite, although it's May. Like I saw people posting, "Oh my God, Niners open up as a 5 point favorite." It's May. A lot of things can change from now until May, so we'll see. Yeah, Malachi Corley, that's the name. So yeah, week one, Niners, Jets, super hyped up. And after that news dropped, there was more news. Again, today was filled with so much news. The 49ers went and grabbed an offensive lineman. You know what? They signed Chris Hubbard, right? He's been in the league for a couple years. He's a 33-year-old veteran tackle. I think he's been in the career for nine or 10 years in the NFL. He's played with several teams. Last year, he played for the Tennessee Titans. He started several games, I think 9 games, until he got a biceps injury, went on injured reserve. But he was 51 of 86 qualifying tackles, according to the stats here. Not bad for a team, needing depth. And he could be a swing tackle, right? I still think Colton McKivitz is going to be your starter. But if this guy comes in and he can prove that he's better than Colton McKivitz, that's a dub for him. But at least now we have a depth at tackle. And this guy could be a swing tackle. Maybe he takes Jalen Moore's spot. He's not horrible, but he's not this elite guy. But at this point in the offseason, this point as it gets closer to training camp, you're not expecting to get elite players. So I feel like at this point where they got a guy like him who could be a serviceable backup and a swing tackle, not a bad move. So I feel like this was a pretty good signing overall. I mean, yeah, like I said, you're not going to take this guy and be like, oh my God, this is the missing piece. Super Bowl now because we got Chris Hubbard. That's not the case, but he's a guy that could compete for at least a roster spot and might actually be a swing tackle. And swing tackles, if you have injuries or if you have any issues during the season, they might have to play and spot start here and there. So, not a bad, pickup at this point in the offseason. So, good stuff. I like it. I like the addition. It's good to have depth, especially on offensive line. 49ers have been needing depth, right, in the trenches. We've been screaming at them, get me a lineman, get me an offensive lineman, and get me a D lineman, get me this guy. That's what we heard during the draft. So, the 49ers went and got Chris Hubbard. Yesterday, they signed Shaquille Brown, defensive lineman. They actually got this guy after a tryout, right? He did the rookie tryouts. And he was at rookie minicamp and was doing tryouts during rookie minicamp. They liked what they saw, and they signed him. So they added Shaquille Brown yesterday. They added Chris Hubbard today, offensive lineman. And then they had to waive 2 players in order to make room. So they waived Ernest Brown and Corey Luciano, defensive lineman Ernest Brown and Corey Luciano. You know what? I don't think anybody is ever going to notice that we waived those 2 guys. They're depth pieces, and maybe the 2 guys that they signed could actually make the roster in some capacity. I think the defensive lineman Shaquille Brown might make the practice squad. I actually do. He's a pretty talented guy. They liked what they saw during the tryouts at minicamp, and Chris Hubbard, I think he could actually become a swing tackle for us. So you cut 2 guys that probably weren't going to even sniff the roster for 2 guys that might actually be able to make the roster. So not bad. And I think Hubbard's contract was a 1 year, 1.37 million. So it's a little bit higher than the veteran minimum, but a decent price to pay for a guy that could help and maybe replace Jalen Moore. So we'll see what happens. Some other schedule news that came out today. We all saw the week one, right? We know week one, Niners, Jets, but some more news that came out was the actual training camp news. We're actually going to have joint practice with the New Orleans Saints, ladies and gentlemen. The New Orleans Saints and the 49ers are going to have joint practices. They're actually going to play together during the preseason, and before they play, they're going to have a few joint practices. So remember last year, 49ers did the Raiders in joint practices. Every year they've been having these joint practices with teams. I believe they did the Chargers the year before that. This year it's the Saints. No official word if there's going to be tickets available to the public, but the guy that reported it, he commented on my tweet, and he said he does not believe that tickets will be going on to the public, but we'll see. You never know. And if they do have tickets, I want to go because this is actually going to be held in Irvine, California. Now you might think, how the hell are the Saints having practice in Irvine? So I read up on the article. I looked it up. The Saints are having some construction in their practice facility where the cafeteria is and everything. So they need a full place for their team to practice and you know be able to eat and everything like that and do all the things they need to do. So Irvine's going to host them. I think the Irvine has hosted the Rams before, so they've hosted professional football teams for training camp practices and whatnot. So it's the UC Irvine Athletic Complex is where they're going to be doing their joint practices. That's pretty cool. Irvine's not too far from the Bay Area. So my sister was an anteater, Irvine anteater, UCI. My sister went to UCI for her bachelor's degree. I had a lot of friends back when I went to college that went to UCI, so I know a lot of anteaters out there. So that's what their mascot is. They're the anteaters. UC Irvine, California, Irvine. So that's where the 49ers and Saints are going to hold joint practices later this year. That's pretty cool, man. If they're open to the public, I'm gonna drive down to Irvine and check that out. Yeah, 25 minutes for you, Peter. It's really close to everybody out in Southern California. I knew that I grew up in that area a little bit when I was really young. We had a spot before we moved to Vegas. I lived in Irvine, so that's when my sister went back and went to school there. So I know a lot of people that went to Irvine. I know the area very well. We lived in Irvine and like Laguna Hills before we moved to Vegas when I lived in California the first time when I was really young. But obviously, economy wasn't great. My mom's business wasn't doing good, so they moved to Las Vegas. Now that I look back, I'm like, you guys lived in freaking Irvine and Laguna Hills. No wonder you couldn't afford everything. You guys lived in the most expensive places in California. But I digress. It's another story for another day. But yeah, 49ers Saints joint practices in Irvine, California. Look for the information and the exact dates to be released shortly. They haven't released the exact information. They just released that that's the plan. So that should be pretty cool. And 49ers Saints preseason should be a fun one. Some more news that happened today. Obviously, we know the schedule leaks are coming out, and Jordan Schultz earlier today went and reported that week 7 of this football season, the 49ers will get a rematch against the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 7, October 20th, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, which is 1:25 p.m. East Pacific. So it's the 1:30 game, afternoon game. It's not prime time. It's not prime time that week. Week 7, we get a normal afternoon game against the Kansas City Chiefs, home at Levi Stadium. So I know you can't look at that. I trust me. When I was posting that news, I couldn't even. I like there was pictures I had of like game pictures, like when like a player scoring a touchdown, Brock Purdy on the field, Nick Bosa. Like I looked at those, I was like, I can't even use this 4x pick, so I had to just use the Brock Purdy, Mahomes pre Super Bowl pick. The media weekend. I couldn't because at least that pick doesn't show you the game. Doesn't show you part of the game. I was like, oh my god, I can't. But we get a Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs, Week 7. Week 7, ladies and gentlemen, October 20th, afternoon game. Middle of the day, afternoon, week 7. No prime time, no glitz, no glamour. Just go out there and ball. Hopefully, we get a revenge on them. But a lot of people are like, "Well, it doesn't matter. It's a regular season game. We got to beat them when it matters." And I agree. We definitely should beat them when it matters. Hopefully, we do. If it comes down to it, and we get another rematch in the Super Bowl. But it does. It will feel nice if we can beat them in the regular season game. The Niners have not been able to beat the Chiefs in a long time. I don't remember the last time we beat the Chiefs. Like, to be honest with you, it's probably back in like 2012, if I'm remembering correctly. We had Stevie Johnson on the 49ers, and I remember he did like a touchdown on the like a toe drag touchdown type of shit. I think it was like the last time I remember the 49ers might have beat freaking Chiefs. And I remember Brandon Lloyd acrobatic catch. Honestly, think that's the last. Like, I don't remember the last time 49ers beat the Chiefs. It's been a long time, guys. If I know, I get it. It doesn't matter if we lose to a regular season game or if we win in a regular season game. It does to me. It's the Chiefs. And there's a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't matter if we beat them in the regular season game. Oh, it does, because if the 49ers lose to them, people are going to be so pissed. They're going to sit there and say, you guys can't beat the Chiefs. They own you. So just for that, 49ers, I don't want them to lose to the Chiefs. It's mentally a big game for them. 2014 says says California man. Yeah, see that's 2014. I said 2012, 2014 makes more sense because that was when they were kind of the Harbaugh era was kind of ending. And I remember Stevie Johnson, Brandon Lloyd. I remember that game. It was 2014. Last time Niners beat the freaking Chiefs, man. Long time ago, guys. Long time ago. So, end of the day, I hope we beat the piss out of them. I can't stand those guys. I'm sick. Sick to my stomach. We got to beat them. We got to beat them, guys. So, I think I posted this on Instagram. I'll show you this real quick. This is, I don't know, the old heads. You guys remember this. The last time the 49ers beat the Chiefs, or sorry, beat the Jets on a opening game was 1998. Week 1, opening game of the season. The Jets and the Niners played Candlestick Park, and the 49ers beat the Chiefs. Sorry, I'm my head's stuck in the Chiefs. They beat the Jets. They beat the Jets on a walk-off touchdown run by Garrison Hurst. You guys remember this? Old heads will, young cats may not remember this, so I posted this. But this play is literally one of the most iconic plays. I remember I was, 14 at the time? I remember sitting there watching and losing my mind. I see Garrison Hurst just sprinting down the sideline. You see the amazing block by Terrell Owens, and the rest was history. Opening week of the first, the NFL season in 1998, and Garrison Hurst, man, the guy was a dog. I'm gonna play the video. This was one of my.
Offensive lineman down the field, breaks the second tackle. Mo Lewis chases him, gets to him, but it's too late. Scores the touchdown, 96 yards.
That is the longest run from scrimmage in the history of the San Francisco.
That's stiff arm, man. People don't talk about that stiff arm enough. Steve Mariucci, the blocks freaking were insane. Terrell Owens' blocking was wild, bro. The TO block, come on. That play was iconic. I remember screaming my head off, was just hyped up overtime, and the Niners just ripped that run off. 96 yards, the longest run in 49ers history. Can you imagine? CMC, 97 run? Could you imagine if he has a walk-off 97 yard run in that game? I wish that would be amazing. But that play right there was one of the greatest 49er plays I ever watched. Like, I know it wasn't a playoff game, but regular season wise, I mean, that was crazy. If that game was a playoff game or something, or like, can you imagine if that was like a Super Bowl, Chiefs or sorry, Jets and the Niners, and freaking Hurst would walk off and overtime for like that? It would have been insane. But it still was dope. I just couldn't imagine if it was like a Super Bowl game. Holy smokes, man. It would be amazing. But that play right there was so iconic. So, my man California man says the 49ers have not won at home against the Jets since 2008. 2008, guys. Niners got to beat the Jets week 1. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers walk into here with the dub. I can't let it happen. But the media is gonna ride Aaron Rodgers that week. I know they're gonna be riding him a lot. They already are. The media loves the Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna be a media circus, man. Monday Night Football, Niners, Jets. Holy smokes! That's pretty much the big news of the day. Like I said, I want to keep it short, simple. Hit the big highlights. If you also saw earlier today, the Giants posted that QB1 Brock Purdy will be throwing out the first pitch for the Giants-Dodgers game tonight. That's gonna be cool. Be definitely posting that when we see that hit the timeline. That's gonna be awesome to see. Brock Purdy, man, I hope he throws a piss rocket down the strike zone, man. That guy's a dog. It's gonna be awesome to see. A couple other things over the day. Brandon Aiyuk actually went on his Instagram. So I don't know if you guys saw it. He was on his Instagram story and he just talked about how blessed his life is, that he lives in a house, without any distraction. This amazing house. His wife's in the kitchen. His son's on the trampoline. He just was so happy for living life, and he's thriving. So to me, though, also I kind of got like a feeling like it was kind of an Easter egg. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That Brandon Aiyuk might be doing really good in terms of getting his contract set up. So let me play the video. I don't know if you guys saw this. It kind of feels to me that Brandon Aiyuk is hinting, maybe dropping an Easter egg, that contract might be on the way. Let's play it.
It's a great day. You know what I'm saying? So many blessings. We blessed to have life this morning, Tuesday morning. The grass green and the trees is bloom. You know what I'm saying? The pool water heated. All the trucks is filled up with gas, premium. You know what I'm saying? Wifey in the house cooking breakfast.
Yeah.
Son on the trampoline.
Yeah. Yeah.
We so blessed, man. We so blessed. I don't have no neighbors.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't live next to you niggas. Sorry. But, you feel me? Like, blessed.
He said, I don't have no neighbors. I don't live to y'all. He doesn't have any distraction. He said, wife's in the kitchen making that breakfast. His son was like, yeah, man, my mom's making breakfast. I think he's about to get that bag, man. I really think he's about to get that one. He's happy. He's just like counting his blessings. He's like, look, man, I live in this nice house, this nice neighborhood. I got no problems. I think he's really just reflecting, like, hey, man, you know what? I know in the off season everybody's bashing me. I'm trying to get my paper. I'm trying to get my bag, whatever. He's realizing, like, hey, man, I have good money. I'm not, struggling. It could be a lot worse, man. He said he's sitting there. It's a Tuesday. I'm just here living my life. I got my son back behind me. No, he's safe, enjoying his life. The wife is enjoying her life. Like everybody's happy. It's good to see that. A lot of people don't realize how lucky they are to be playing in the NFL. I know, of course, he's worked hard for it. He's worked his ass off. But I feel like BA's just he's so humble, man. And people like to bash on him. Oh, he's trying to get paid and this and that. And there's people I saw when I posted that commented, oh, he was about his paper a couple weeks ago. He really never said anything bad, man. BA is a great player. I think he wants to stay with the Niners. I think he's just blessed. He knows he's going to get paid well, and he knows his blessings are going to continue to rise. He never really said anything bad. They asked him, he had that interview a couple weeks ago with Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp, and he says, "Look, I just want to get paid what I feel is fair, and my agent handles that." John Lynch, he's spoken highly of BA. Says we really love this guy. Talks are going well. But then you got the media that they're trying to distract us and say, oh, BA doesn't want to play with the Niners. His team says this. There's friction. The media creates that story, but BA has never said anything bad. He hasn't done anything bad. He never even requested a trade. Brandon Ayuk has not ever requested a trade. Even in the past when Debo went through this situation, there was a trade requested. You know what I mean? Brandon Ayuk never requested one. So I don't know. I feel like BA is handling this very well, very professional, and I think it's a matter of time. I think Brandon Ayuk will get his paper. I think he's gonna get signed. I kind of feel like he's foreshadowing, like, hey man, it's gonna happen, and I'm blessed to be where I'm at, and he knows it, and he knows he's gonna work his ass off and continue to put that off season grind. And if you've seen his Instagram, if you've seen his social media, he's posted a lot in terms of what he's done training wise. He does every year, so he can show you, hey man, I'm putting in the work. And then when the season comes, you see what the work has done to get him where he's at, and you see the effects. So I feel like Brandon Ayuk really is straightforward. He doesn't hide anything. He's very transparent. He doesn't sit there and talking, BS, language or anything. He says what he has to say. But there's times where he has to kind of gatekeep and protect things when it's contract negotiation. Everybody does. But I feel like BA hasn't done anything shisty or anything weird. Again, I feel like he's handled this situation very well. And I think he's going to get paid well. And it's nice to see him enjoying the fruits of his labors. I saw that video today. I was like, you know what, BA, man, that's respect. He's a very he's a young man, and he knows he's worked his butt off, and he's enjoying the life as best as he can. So much respect to Brandon Ayuk. Again, people in the media are going to try to tear him down or any player down, but it's good to see him not being torn down. Because I'll tell you what, a couple weeks ago, I'll tell you, you go through the social media comments and running a big content page like this, you see the people turn on a player. You see them talk trash. You see the nastiness, and then a couple weeks later, when things are going good, they switch up. Like, he's amazing. I can't wait for him to. And it's the same people. Sometimes, sometimes you just see like random comments, and you're like, okay. But doing this so many times, I see the same commenters, and when they switch up, I'm like, people just they're impatient or they're emotional or whatever the case is. People run off emotions and then they bash these players. But I got respect for BA, man. He's gonna get paid. And again, long story short, BA's doing good. I'm pretty sure they're working on it, just like John Lynch said. And it seems like things are going well because Brandon Aiyuk was very happy today. Again, I think he's foreshadowing a little bit. We might be getting a contract soon. That contract, that notification when Brandon Aiyuk signs his extension is going to hit like crazy. It's going to hit, so it's going to be like, oh man, it's going to be amazing when that notification drops. Boom! Breaking news: Brandon Aiyuk has signed. It's going to feel good, man, because it always does. Whenever those players sign their contracts, like it feels good to me as a fan. Can you imagine being the player sitting there going, "Holy shit, I just made 50 million a year," or "Oh my god, I'm making 25 million." Like, you know what I mean? Can you imagine being in that player's position? How amazing it must feel. As a fan, I'm hyped up for them. I'm like, let's go, get that bag. Can you imagine being that player? But yeah, anyway, long story short, Brandon Ayuk, man, love you. Hope you get your money soon. To recap, 49ers, Jets, week 1, Monday night football, prime time. That's the first game of the season for us. Schedule was leaked. Week 7, 49ers, they played the Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. I'm going to get a little PTSD. I might not sleep that week. The 49ers signed an offensive lineman, Chris Hubert, veteran offensive tackle, most recently of the Tennessee Titans. He started some games with them last year until he got injured. And that's the news. Oh, and also the last thing we talked about is the 49ers and the Saints will have joint practices in Irvine, California. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'm actually supposed to be live with Larry Krueger later tonight. So stay tuned. I'll be back. We'll talk about this stuff in more detail. I got to log off, make some dinner. I got to do a little paperwork and catch Brock Purdy throw the first pitch out in the game tonight, Dodgers and Giants. So you guys have a good rest of your night. I love you. Bang, bang. Nana gang. Peace.